Hello out there, everyone. Today we're going to be looking at Swingers, 1996 film starring Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau and directed by none other than Doug Liman, who of course went on to have a pretty successful career, first with this film of course, but then later with The Bourne Identity and even The Edge of Tomorrow, which is a rather underrated and very, very effective piece of science fiction with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. But in this film, it really did capture the era so well. It was released in '96, filmed in '95, and it puts gets a snapshot of LA. Basically, it's an LA that doesn't exist anymore. All of the bars that were in this film are no longer. They've been razed and replaced. The Dresden, the Derby, and it's kind of sad. But you know, things change, and that's inevitable. The other thing that's just so good about it is that, firstly, the two leads have wonderful chemistry together, and they of course went on to make another film, I think called Made, which wasn't as good. But with this film, I felt like they were firing on all cylinders, and obviously they were, you know, both playing sort of clueless male jerks, I guess. Obviously, the Vince Vaughn character was a bit more jerky than the Jon Fav's character, but even still, it's an interesting sort of time capsule also of how men thought they should act when out on the dating scene. And I don't think the women get off unscathed either, though. I mean, it's a pretty harsh time to be a young adult trying to make it in LA or anywhere for that matter, and come up with you know, a successful sort of life path for oneself. I mean, in this particular film, they're all struggling actors and or comedians trying to get work in LA, and mostly just getting bit parts here and there, living in you know, apartments that nowadays would probably be way too expensive for what they're doing. But even still, you know, they go out, they have fun, they go to parties, they go to bars, and it's just it's an excellent time capsule of an era that really isn't there anymore. I also credit the film for being the sort of progenitor for bringing back the swing dance scene. I mean, I think that with both the soundtrack and the use of the locations, and of course that terrific final scene in the Derby where you know, Jon Favreau, his character, finally shakes off his slump and, you know, ends up meeting Heather Graham, and, you know, having a great time out on the dance floor, and seemingly once and for all finally forgetting his ex. It's just a terrific film. I mean, the comedy is great. It's obviously a little cringy. There's a moment in the film where the Jon Favreau character had gotten a number at a bar or a party, and couldn't even wait to call her. So after he got home that night, he proceeds to leave about 10 voicemails on her machine, and it's so cringy. But you know, there's an element of truth to it. I think every guy at some point or another has done something like that, and it's almost like a train wreck, and you're just watching it happen, and there's nothing that you can do about it. It's just a really well done scene. So this of course is the standard DVD. I don't even know, I think this is on Blu-ray, but this looks fine. It's a collector's edition, so it's you know, it's got the correct aspect ratio. It features also some nice supplemental materials about the film, and you know, I love revisiting this flick every couple of years, and I have the soundtrack on CD, and I listen to that on a regular basis. It's just a fun movie. Highly recommended. If you've not seen it, do yourself a favor and seek it out. And if you have, revisit it. I think you'll be surprised by how well it holds up, despite, you know, its apparent sort of, in many ways, quite realistic depiction of sort of the dating scene in the 90s. It's pretty painful to watch at times. So on that note, please do take care out there, everyone. Stay safe, be kind, and keep watching cinema.